Absolutely Not is normalizing the standard, period. If you bring the whole table, then you can sit with us. We're bringing all the uncomfy combos and creating an unapologetic space to drive the culture forward respectfully. Cause it seems like everyone wants to keep their opinions in the comment section. Absolutely not. What is up, world? It's your girl, Allura, and we're back for another episode of Absolutely Not the Podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for new episodes. Today on the show, we have my favorite guest of all time, Jennifer Williams.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming back.
Of course, I love it here.
I know I always say that every episode, but we really do love you here. So today we're going to be talking about women and friendships. So, Jen,
Yes.
do you have a large group of friends?
I do, actually. I have like the inner circle, and then those are my close friends. And
Like
then
your core group?
Yeah.
Yeah, your core.
I have separate groups of friends, but I like to bring people together. So at my events, you'll find out at my next birthday,
Yes.
that everyone gets along really well. So when I do mixed groups, it works because I think it's a gift, but I do find like how people mix well. That's like one of the things that I'm really good at doing, depending on the activity. But if it's one of my birthdays, I know who to invite. I know who's going to get along with who. I have a lot of girlfriends. I also have a lot of guy friends. And one of the disclaimers I always say when I bring all of them together is I am not responsible for what happens when y'all meets. This is not my fault. If you have an issue with one of my homeboys,
You guys better work it out.
Yeah, that's my disclaimer. But I definitely have, I'd say about 6, I call them best friends, and they are my best friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
6? Girl,
I know.
I could never.
It's a lot, but 3 of them I've known since high school. Some of them are from college and then post-college, but they all get along really well. But these are my girls, right? And then I have a really large group of friends who most of them went to UTSA. My best friend, Carol, she went to high school with me, and she went to UTSA. So I actually introduced her to a girl when I worked at Six Flags, and they kind of connected, and they were roommates at UTSA, and they created this big circle.
Oh, look at you.
I'm like the grandmother. They don't even know it.
Yeah.
'Cause they would have never met if it wasn't for me. Yeah.
Oh, you're the glue.
I am. And honestly, like I've had girlfriends who have been in my life over 25 years.
Wow.
So,
Goals.
Yeah, it's definitely, I've been very blessed with the girlfriends I have. I do consider my girlfriends to be my soulmates.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I've only had one soulmate.
Who is the girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nothing like, it's just friends, but I feel like your friends are your family that you get to choose.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds cliche, but I really do feel that way. And the relationships I have with my girlfriends, we have been through a lot. And I think that keeping ourselves in a way that we are still making an effort to connect is part of the reason why we've been friends so long. Because you have to make an effort.
And that's something that I just recently learned. I mean, I know that might sound like a shock, but growing up, like, I always felt like I didn't have any friends. I'm the type of person, like, I get very overstimulated when, like, being in large friend groups or, like, having multiple friends. I'm the type of person, like, I have to focus my attention on one singular person. So I had a friend that I was really close to growing up, and we became best friends in, like, middle school. And, like, I had other friends outside of her that I kind of did stuff with, but they weren't, like, my first call. So, like, I put all my eggs in one basket with her. We were best friends for like over 10 years. And then, like, people grow and they change, and we kind of like phased out of our friendship. And it's been something that has definitely been a struggle for me as an adult, but even in my teen years, because we kind of started growing apart when I was younger, but it just was hard for me to kind of face the music. So I went through high school like feeling ostracized, or like I didn't really fit with anyone, but I noticed that like a lot of the reason why I didn't have friends or felt like I didn't was because of me. I never ever put forth the effort to actually try and make friends. And then if I did meet somebody, I wasn't like actively trying to hang out with them. I was always the type of person that waited for people to want to hang out with me.
Oh.
And like now that I've met you and our other friends, and I even have other friend groups, I noticed that like all you have to do is nourish the relationship, like plan stuff. And my therapist told me that too, because when I was explaining to her about what happened with me and my best friend and how like sometimes I still struggle with that as an adult, because at the same time, like one of my love languages is being known or like feeling seen. So like I think that's the 5th love language. They just added that.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yes.
That's why I was like,
Feeling seen, like someone knowing you on a deeper level than almost anyone.
Okay.
And so like that was the connection that I had with her. Like I said, she was my soulmate.
Okay.
And so it was very hard for me to like find other friends, because I was always like, okay, even if I do find other friends, they're not gonna understand me on that deep personal level. But I noticed that it's actually okay to have surface level friendships. Everyone that you meet is not going to be your best friend. They're not going to be your closest friend in the world. But it's still good to like interact with people, and like those surface level friendships can turn into something beautiful.
Yeah. What I will say, because I feel like I have so many friends that I don't need any more, like, I don't need a lot of deep relationships anymore. I feel like where I'm at, it is about networking. It's about networking, and it's about being able to make connections with people and just being a better person and growing and making sure that for myself, am connecting with people.
I agree.
Making those connections. When Drake came out with, what is it? No New Friends?
Yeah.
I was like, no new friends. But I'm somebody, I have these 6 best friends, but I'm very territorial of my friends.
Period, as you should be.
Well, and it's so funny because very rarely will I find a friend who has a friend that I actually like. So when I do, I'm like, oh, I really like her. And usually what happens is that friend becomes closer to me when that happens. But if it doesn't happen, it's the opposite. I can know, and this is my problem. This is actually my problem. If, let's say, I have one of my girlfriends, she has 2 friends who I don't care for. I don't care for them. One of them, I knew I didn't care for her from the day I met her. And I still don't care for her.
I'm like that too.
But
and I hate when I get that feeling.
Well, to me, I trust my intuition because there's a reason I have that feeling. And I just put guards up. My friends, though, they're like, I can't have any other friends. I'm like, no, you can't. But I joke. But they can. They can totally have other friends. It just takes me a while for me. If you want me to be friends with that friend, it's going to take me a while to warm up to them, which I think is a natural reaction when your best friend has a friend. I have girlfriends. Like one of my best friends lives in LA. It took me, I'd say, about 3 years to like really be okay with her having friends
in LA.
Aww. Because they're just different girls. You know, LA girls are different from Texas girls.
No, they are.
I mean, Houston girls are different from Dallas girls too, specifically. So it's a learning curve. I'm trying to become better because I am maturing. So that's one thing I have I'm trying to work on. This last birthday that one of my girlfriends had, there was a woman who I don't care for. But I was nice and I spoke to her. So like I'm fake nice with her, and that's the most that they can get out of me. It's like,
and I agree, like being fake nice isn't a terrible thing if it's all in sake of like being cordial for your friend.
Very cordial. I'm polite. Like one thing I will say, this person probably doesn't even know I don't like them.
And I think that's good. That's very mature.
Okay. I mean, it's fake nice. It's definitely fake nice. But for me, my girlfriends, we've been friends for a long time. We always talk about how, like, I'm the one leading this conversation, how when we're old, we're going to live in a mansion together. Aww. Their husbands are going to be dead. Okay. I'm always encouraging, stay single. We can just raise these kids together.
No, for real. That was my plan with my best friend. I was just like, if we don't find anyone, we can just like
I believe in matriarchs.
Yeah.
I believe in matriarchs for sure. So no, I mean, I want to be able to travel with my girlfriends when we're older. Like, these are the relationships I have with these same women that I know I'm going to have later on in life. So
I love that.
little golden girls.
Yes, I love that. And growing up, like, that was something that I always aspired to have. So I grew up watching shows like Girlfriends, where, you know, there's this large friend group and they all love each other. And so that's what I expected for myself. And then I ended up just having one best friend,
You
which
can still have that.
I mean, yeah and no. What I've learned about myself
Okay.
is that I am an acquired taste.
Okay.
I'm like sparkling water. You're not going to like me on the first sip, but eventually if you keep drinking, you'll love me.
No, I think you're adorable, and I think that everyone loves you. Like, I loved you the first time I met you.
Oh, I loved you too, Jen.
So, and maybe giving yourself that mindset that, like, I can make friends at no matter what age I am, because I have friends that I've met after 24, right, that I consider my best friends. Like, they're there. Actually, specifically, I'd say four of my 6.
Aw, Jen. Well, one thing that I am noticing is that a lot of the relationships that I just recently, like, have started building, and a lot of the people that I've became friends with, like, even you, even a year ago, you guys might not be my best friends, but these are mature and healthy relationships that I do want to have forever. I'm also noticing, like, so I have small friend groups within, like, a large friend group, I guess. Like, I have a lot of friends, but they're just, like, in a lot of different places. I have 2 close friends in LA that I see multiple times a year because I travel. And then I have my friends here, and then I have my friends that I work with or that I used to work with. And so, like, they're all in separate spaces. But what I've noticed most recently is that, like, the friends that I have now are friends that can grow with me. They're all people that are really focused on themselves and, like, moving forward in life, and they're very goal-oriented people. And the friends that I most recently phased out of were not like that. They weren't very progressive. They were very complacent. And so, like, these are friendships that I do think would last a lifetime.
So networking is a part of that. So being able to meet people as you are career driven and, you know, trying to better yourself and your money, you're going to find more people who are like-minded. And I think that keeping an opening mind for those people, it's okay to let those people in.
Yeah.
As long as y'all are vibing. I think that's really what it comes down to.
And I think one of the hardest things for me was letting those previous relationships go. But now I can, like, confidently say, this might come off as classist, but I'm not classist at all.
Okay.
A lot of my friends, like, most of my friend group, like, they make very well on their jobs, but they're all very career-driven women. And I think that, I mean, money doesn't mean anything, but how can
at the same time, it means everything.
Yeah.
Because if your friends can't afford to go to a restaurant that you frequent,
yes,
that's a thing. I have friends. I have one friend in particular who can't afford luxuries. So when I do invite her out, I know I'm paying for her. But it's more of like an unspoken situation, and she's probably the exception.
Yeah.
If I had a bunch of friends like that, I don't know if we would be friends.
And see, that's the thing. I noticed a lot of growth within myself when I started centering myself around people that were more like me. Because I have expensive taste. Like, y'all see my posts on Instagram. You see them on TikTok. Y'all know I like nice things. And, like, being friends with people that I used to be friends with, they would make fun of me, or they call me bougie, or try to make me feel bad for living a life of luxury. And, like, we all have our different definitions of luxury. Like, for me, luxury isn't materialistic. It's a way of living. So I'm not going to put certain things in my body that shouldn't go there.
Right.
And so, like, we would go to certain restaurants that are not restaurants I would eat at, and they would have a problem with it. But now, like, I'm around people who eat at the same places that I eat at, like to go work out. And I've noticed, like, a lot of changes within myself. Like, I'm not putting terrible things in my body.
Yeah.
I'm moving a lot more. I wake up a lot earlier to get my day started, and I have goals that I want to accomplish in different tasks throughout the day. So I'm noticing a lot of positive shifts within myself by centering myself around the right people.
My dad used to say, this reminded me, like when you feel like your boat is sinking, you got to throw people overboard.
Yep.
And that to me sounds like what you've been doing, because then you are able to elevate yourself.
And that's exactly what it feels like is happening. And I said this a few months ago. Like I said, I'm not classist, but I did have a lot of friends who didn't have money. And I noticed that being around those people kept me in a financially unstable position myself. And now that I'm around people who are about their money, who are always trying to find a way to make more, which I'm not saying like, how do I explain it? So like having a good job like isn't enough for them. They're still trying to find ways to have multiple streams of income so that they're never broke.
The hustle.
Yes. And what I think is beautiful about that, like let's say that I want a Louis Vuitton bag, or I have microlinks. I want to be able to get my microlink styled more than one time a month. Instead of saying like, oh, I'm too broke, I can't afford that. You find a way to make money so that you can do those things.
Yeah.
And being around people who have that mindset has definitely changed something in me.
Well, they say that if you are the smartest or wealthiest person in your friend group, you need to find new friends.
My mom has been preaching that to me literally forever.
Yeah, it's true.
But I always felt like people were going to think that I turned my back on them.
Don't worry. You're a people pleaser? Okay. You're an empath? Yes.
I am definitely an empath.
You got to focus on you and the purpose that God has for you, and that's it. That's everything. Everybody else will come when they're supposed to come. They're going to stay if they're supposed to stay. If they're supposed to leave, you got to let them go. You cannot feel guilty about that. I have people that I have drifted away from, and for me, it's like if I think about that person and I don't get that positive feeling, then it's probably time to let that friendship go.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because usually it's reciprocal in some way. There's some kind of tension somewhere, and it just happens naturally. I don't think you're supposed to be friends with everyone forever.
Yeah.
I don't. I think that there are people, and I have a friend who I was hanging out with recently, and I'm just looking at her like, I think maybe we've come to our end of times. And it doesn't mean I'm just going to like block her, or never answer her phone calls. It's just going from that close circle, your inner circle, to an acquaintance is a little bit easier to go to.
And I've noticed too, like, not being friends with somebody doesn't have to be a negative thing. Like, it doesn't have to even be something that you share with them. You just start, I almost said a cuss word. You just start messing with them on the level that you see them on. So, like, I don't think that everybody has to, I think that because we're in the age of social media and everybody's so heavily connected and the world has gotten so much smaller with LinkedIn and just everybody creating all of these social networks, it's important to kind of stay cordial with people. So if you don't see this person as a close friend, just invite them to your birthday. Don't invite them to your girls' nights.
Even then, though, see, my birthday list this year is 37 people without my family, and I have 15 family members.
And I made the list.
You did make the list. But it's like, I'm looking at this list, and I'm like, who can I get rid of? There's really not a lot of people. The people I invited last year might not be on this list, and that's okay. But at this point in my life, because I'm turning 35 soon, this point in my life, I am looking at who has been in contact with me. So as I'm making my birthday list, I go to my Instagram, I go to my text messages. If I don't see a conversation with them in the last, 3 months?
Yeah.
Then we don't need to talk.
Yeah.
You don't need to come to my birthday. Because I have to find a venue that's going to hold us and possibly catering, So if I'm spending money on you, but I haven't spoken to you in more than 6 months, doesn't mean I'm not your friend.
It just means that we're more of acquaintances now.
Yeah, and it's life. It happens. As long as it's not my best friends or those people in my close circle, because I do have other people who are not necessarily best friends, I quote, who I'm close to. If it's not these people who are dwindling away, I'm not emotionally affected. But it is it feels like a heartbreak when you lose a friend.
It does.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that friendship breakups are even worse than like relationship breakups.
They are.
Because you got to think, like, having a best friend that you've been friends with since you guys were kids, they've been there for all of those low moments, especially in your relationship, and not having them at all. Like, even now at my grown age, I still have like memories of my childhood with my best friend, and like sometimes they hit hard and it makes me sad, but at the end of the day, like, everyone outgrows people, and you just have to keep those memories, treasure them, and be grateful that you still have them.
Absolutely. I think that's what matters, especially in today's society when it comes to single women. Like, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. We're spending time with our girlfriends, not our husbands.
And I love that.
I do
because
too.
Literally, when I tell you guys, I grew up watching Girlfriends, and that was the life that I saw for myself. Like,
living single was for me.
Yes. Yes, Jen.
Yes. Living single in the night is kind of rough. I'm glad I got my girls. I mean, that part right there, I envision myself going into my elderly years with my girlfriends and going to brunch in Paris.
Yes. And now I finally have friends that I can do that kind of stuff with. I have friends that invite me to do out of the country trips. And I'm not talking about just Mexico. I'm talking about Europe, Bali, different places in India. So I'm super excited for what's to come.
I'm a girl's girl, though.
Me too.
It's nothing that's hard. You know, girls usually get along with each other. Mm-hmm. So I think that me having all my sisters that I grew up in a matriarch. I respect women a lot. I respect women so much. I respect women so much. And I mean, I don't want to sound like a misandrist, but I believe that women are the more intelligent.
I agree.
Gender. And
I definitely agree.
I think that in girl world, you think about Mean Girls, girl world is totally different than
guy world.
Or even being out here amongst the patriarchy, right? It's a lot more competition.
It definitely is. And that's also something that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you've seen the trend of like PR friendships. That's what a TikTok creator called them. I'm quoting her. I'll probably tag her in this video. But a PR friendship is a friendship solely based off of superficial standards. And so, like, that's having certain friends that you go out with, certain friends that you post with on social media, and making friends, like, based off of how they look. Like, have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, we should be friends?
All the time. I've done that too, though. I've done that. I've seen girls who I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so gorgeous, and we just end up hitting it off. I don't necessarily feel like I sought them out just because they were pretty. But what I will say, all of my friends are gorgeous. Mm-hmm. To me, it just so happens that all my friends are gorgeous. They have really good personalities. They have good spirits. But on top of that, I mean, I know pretty girls who have mucky spirits, have mucky personalities. I'm not friends with them. Mm-hmm. There's people here in Dallas I'm not friends with anymore because of their mucky spirit. Mm-hmm. Okay. It takes that connection, those good vibes. But like when I do go out, because I'm out here in these streets sometimes, me and my girlfriends, it's so easy. We just walk up.
Hello.
We just walk up. We don't stand in line.
Just like that.
It's really easy. And we also have money. So we're not trying to just like freeload, mm-hmm. right? So yeah, we're walking up. We're like, we want a table. We want to do this. And we want to have a good time. I'm having a hot girl Halloween.
Can I come?
Yes, you can come.
Okay, because I've always wanted to have, we should do spooky drinks. Can I be the the bartender?
So I'm going to tell you more about this night after this. Yeah. Because it's a jam-packed night. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're getting a table. And this is probably my last Halloween, hot girl Halloween in the streets. Because I'm 35. Like, I need to be at a house party next Halloween. I need to be at somebody's mansion party.
Girl, and I've never even been out on Halloween.
What? Okay. I think this will be good for you. Okay. Especially, like, I could pass the baton to you.
And I can have the next Hot Girl Halloween. You guys stay tuned.
Well, and I pull girls together. So different girls, are coming, but we're not going to have any men at our table. It's just going to be us. And they're going to be like, who are these hot girls in the club?
That, I think, what you said is everything. I love seeing women in a section by themselves, and that is particularly my problem with PR friendships. For one, they're very surface level friendships, which I said there's nothing wrong with surface level friendships, but if you don't reach out to me to check on me throughout the year, you're only hitting me up when a specific person's in town, or if you know an artist or a celebrity is going to be here and you want to sit in their section.
You know what? I did have those when I was younger, and those girls who did it got married and they disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that to my... I mean, we didn't call them PR, but that's really what they were. They're pretty girls.
You're just together because you look good.
But it's good to be associated with these type of women at the same time for networking purposes. It can open doors for you.
Yeah, and I've learned that. That's why I don't completely just...
knock it off.
But it's not something that
it's not sustainable.
Yeah. It's not something that I'm completely searching for and wanting to continue establishing. My next friendships, I want to be lifelong. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of the surface level stuff.
Friend. Yes.
We love you, Jen.
Honestly though, it's good that you're shedding the extra weight of your friends who are not where you need to be, and that you're making and networking with people who are and like-minded. I feel like that's really all that matters.
I definitely agree with you. And I think that because I'm getting ready to turn 25, everything is finally starting to make sense. Everything is clicking now.
Your frontal lobes are developing.
They're developing. They're developed. I mean, I'm finally getting it. I noticed that over the years, I didn't have friends. A lot of the stuff that I went through was honestly self-inflicted. One, because I'm extremely hard on myself when really I shouldn't be. I should get out of my head and enjoy life. And I just need to reach out to people and not be afraid to, and always continue networking and making sure that everyone knows my name.
Yeah, I think you're good at that. We just went to the fair together. I feel like you do that. I think you do well with this. I think that you have the whole world ahead of you. 25. I'm 35. I mean, I'll be 35, but I was teaching at 25, I wasn't really focused on networking. I didn't think I was going to get out of teaching. So I had no desire to do what I'm doing now. 2022 for me has been all about networking and putting myself in positions to meet people.
I think it's that shift that happened with COVID, like we talked about before. A lot of millennials were trained to get one job and stay there forever. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the way of the world anymore, for one. You cannot be blindly loyal to a company, because a lot of these companies are not loyal to you. There have been so many layoffs, so many people getting fired. Mm-hmm. And now, never relocate for a company because you could just be there 3 months. A lot of these companies are just filling positions just because they're open. And
which is why I really push people to go the entrepreneurial route, because you're working for yourself. You are going to be working more. Mm-hmm. That's what they don't tell us.
Yeah. You work after hours. You get off work and then you work on your business, which is why I've surrounded myself with other people who are entrepreneurs, so I can get some of those early hours in. I've been waking up at 6 and going to Pilates.
What I will say is that most of my girlfriends don't have an entrepreneurial spirit, so it is hard for me when I am trying to schedule my week or weekend. And I'm so busy, but my friends are like, what are we doing this? And I'm like,
yes,
you don't have to give me time, because I got the tutoring over here. I got real estate here. So and I need to rest, and I need to work out, and I still need to see my family.
Yeah.
But I will say this to just sum up how I put my friends, and I decided this probably when I was in my early 30s. I think 20s, I was looking for a husband, or waiting for a husband more so. When it came to my 30s, though, I kind of redistributed everything, and it was family, friends,
men,
me.
Oh,
okay.
Love that.
Me, and which I might put me in front of them
your
too,
family
depending
and friends,
on what the subject is. Then networking than men. Men are last for me, mainly because I felt like when I was teaching, I was dependent on the fact that or the idea of getting a husband to like help me with my finances. But now I want to be the rich husband.
Yes.
The rich man.
I love that.
Right? I didn't have that mentality before though. And I didn't think having this paradigm where I'm putting men here before where they needed to be was where that came from. Now it's my priorities are more
me focused,
more sustainable long term, because men are not going to be as sustainable long term when you're dating, right? Unless you find a great guy and that just like works. Yeah, it just marriage is, we can talk about marriage later on, but finding a husband though who is your friend is important for me. And so I wouldn't want, that's probably why I haven't found anybody yet, because I'm not trying to be out there with the men like that. It's mainly the women who I'm like focused on building relationships with, so.
And that I think is something that I learned pretty early, because the earlier parts, I graduated from college early. I graduated college at 20, and like the earlier part of my 20s, I was so focused, like everything for me has been like kind of checking off a list. I was always like that student that excelled, and everything for me is an accomplishment. So, okay, I graduated from high school, graduated from college early. So the next thing for me to do, buy a house and get a husband. So those were things that I tried to actively do outside of college. Like immediately as soon as I graduated, I was on the dating scene trying to find a husband. And like I would seek people out that like work the same kind of job as me. Like it was very strategic. But I noticed that like it doesn't happen that way. And it was hard for me to really understand that, because my parents have been together since they were 13.
Oh yeah.
And so I was looking for,
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And I had a boyfriend that I dated like all the way through college. We dated from the time that I was 15 until I was 21. And unfortunately, like we had to break up because like we just weren't equally yoked. And so immediately after I stopped dating him, like I don't even think I took time to grieve. I was out on the dating scene trying to find my next prospect, and not even for financial purposes, just because I wanted to make it to that next step in my life of accomplishments.
I can see that. And I think I was on the same page when I decided to be a teacher. I had a long-term boyfriend in college, and like we had our plan together.
Yeah, we did too. I could not imagine being married and having a kid at 22.
Listen, I was supposed to go to Baylor. I was going to major in sports marketing before I met him.
Girl, you would have been really good at that.
Thank you. I feel like I would have too.
Come on, Jen, Tasha Mack.
But when exactly when I met him, I don't know, other things aligned. Also, I did. Was called to teaching. I think I was supposed to go down the route I went through because teaching did help me network better.
I agree. I could see that. And like I worked not necessarily in the classroom, but I worked as a speech therapist in school districts and in home health. And so I think that really did kind of help with me reaching out to people. But I think the biggest step for me as far as networking and creating lifelong friendships was moving into corporate.
Oh yeah,
corporate keeps you on your toes. Like it's always something new to learn. I tell you, I learn a new word every day in corporate.
Do you?
Yes. Like the other day I learned procurement.
Okay. Because isn't that about pay?
Yeah, it's like the finance and legal area of like different businesses.
Okay.
So like once you do a sale, you put it through the procurement process.
That's what I thought.
And that's the approval.
Like a payment.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how they approve whether they're going to pay you or not. But corporate just really keeps you on your toes. It's something new to learn every day. It's always new people like that you meet at these different companies, and they always bring value.
They do.
I have not met a single person in the corporate world that I did not learn from.
Did you meet someone that you didn't like, though?
I mean, always, but there were certain traits about them that were admirable.
Okay. So it's a good way to figure. I can say that for teaching and for corporate since I've done both. I try not to make friends at work.
Yeah.
I do. That's actually a thing for me. Like, don't make friends at work. You were different.
You were different for me too.
Okay, you were different for sure. And I did have those, like, in education also. Working with all women as a teacher. I mean, we had like one man compared to all the women. Things can get very cliquish very easily, and that was my reason. I kind of actually hung out with the women who are like my mother's age. Like,
that's me.
I had work moms.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's me. Like, because I graduated early and like did a lot of things earlier in life, I tend to gravitate towards people that are a lot further along in life than me.
I see
But
that.
just because we're more like-minded and we
You're very mature.
understand each other.
Yeah, you're very mature. You're like the Beyonce at 16.
I wish.
Hanging out with Oprah.
Girl, a dream, literally. A dream.
That is so funny. I mean, it's true though. Like, Miss Tina and Oprah and Beyonce just hanging out. Yeah, just.
And then I have you, my wisest friend. It's just so important to me now to have a circle of people that I can now learn from.
I'm your wisest friend.
Yes, you are my wisest friend. Every time I talk to you, I learn something new, and I'm like always taking notes. I always tell people, I'm like, I have this friend named Jen. Have your notebook ready.
You know what's funny? I was like this when I was young too. I've always been like this. And I think, I wouldn't say that I was not as mature as you were, or you are at your age. Because I'm literally about to have my last hot girl Halloween. You've never even had one. I was doing that. But
yeah.
I
think
am
you're more
trying to
extroverted than me.
I am extroverted. I'm an ambivert, so it's both. But I'm heavier on the extrovert side, but just by a tad. It's circumstantial for me, for sure. But like, this is the year. Like, me turning 35 in like 50 days is me. I literally had this conversation with myself last week. I'm like, okay, stop. This is your last Halloween. Hot girl Halloween's over. You need to start acting like a grown up. Because I don't feel like I act like a grown up.
That's me talking to myself too.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm like still really engulfed with my inner child. I like to go roller skating. I mean, like, I do stuff that is not mature. It just does not consist of like going to clubs.
I do all kinds of stuff that's not mature. Like dating men who I shouldn't be dating. That's not mature.
Girl, I don't think women are ever going to learn from that. We have a weakness for these men, girl.
But I like where I'm at because I'm able to like date older or date younger. It's a good happy medium.
In my 20s, I went through a phase of dating older men.
Did you really?
Girl.
How was that?
I learned a lot. I learned that it's really no difference. Like, they're all the same.
That's what my mom told me.
Same dumb.
My mom told me that all men, no matter what their race, age, or anything, because she's dated multiple races, and she's like, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And I've dated some other ethnicities of men, but I'm a hot girl. So this is the thing. I have to handle them all the same.
Yep.
Is there's a way to handle them.
Yeah, but old men are like really controlling.
And also
I don't like that.
more likely to be misogynistic.
And very traditional.
And try to be your daddy.
Yeah.
And you have a daddy.
Exactly.
So
and I don't have daddy issues, so I'm not calling you daddy.
Right.
Period.
My dad actually, before he passed, he told me, he's like, Jen, I can see you dating or like being with an older man. And I'm like, no, daddy, I don't have any daddy issues. Don't say that. But I do see where he was talking about. He was more referring to my maturity and like where my mindset is. Where I'm at, I don't want a man, because I am different than I was in my 20s. I don't want a man using his money to try to control me.
And that's what they do.
And I didn't know that. I didn't see that.
I didn't either, girl.
Before.
I didn't either. They wine and dine you, take you to all these fancy restaurants, give you all these luxury experiences, but they all come at a price.
I still say no. I still tell them no. And like, oh, I'm good. I have my own.
Yes, that's my favorite thing to say. But then when you do that, oh, you're too independent. You'll never ever find a husband.
Listen. Texas OU weekend last weekend, I had a man. His name is Jason. He was the president of Globe Life. He told me, and I'm calling him out because I want him to try and find me.
I think I know Jason.
President of Globe Life.
Yeah.
Is he tall?
Yes.
Okay, can I cuss?
Yeah,
He's an
absolutely.
asshole. He's an asshole. I actually like cussed him out that day.
Jason.
We had a witness because he told me, he's like, you're single with no kids and unmarried. And I'm like, and?
Did he tell you that you're a leftover woman too?
Who is he? Who is he? Is he really the president of Globe Life?
Girl,
and how much money is he really making?
We'll talk about this off the camera.
Listen, come find me, sir, because I got somebody who's waiting for you.
Yeah, it's me. We'll catch you on TikTok.
One of my guy friends was like trying to find him that night. He pretty much was using his misogyny to put me down, and I'm like, bro, you can't put me down.
And what I think is crazy,
because I denied you.
Yeah,
I denied him. By the way, that's why he's so upset.
Yeah, these guys that like try to say like, oh, you're a leftover woman, you're not married, you don't have kids, but like you don't either. So
he had a kid. He had a 7-year-old, but he is not married to his baby, the mother of his child.
But my thing is,
break black families. Okay.
Men have the ability to ask for a woman's hand in marriage. Like,
don't get me started.
Men technically are the ones that
make the move.
Yeah, make the move.
Decisions.
As they say on my TikTok, in my comments.
Women have power too. I don't think a woman needs to stay in a relationship with a man if he's not proposing within, honestly, at this point, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years I think is a good run because 1 year is kind of scary.
1 year is too much. You don't really, to me, you don't know somebody until 3 years.
I don't think you should even, that's another topic.
Yeah,
but for men to say, like, they have all this power when it comes to marriage, and for them to be like, oh, you're not married, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, babe, you could have asked anyone to marry you, and you're still not married. So what does that say about you?
Marriage is made for men, though. Like, it benefits men more than it benefits women. Women, like you said, that checklist, it looks good for societal purposes. It looks good because it gives a status quo. A woman who is single, she does have to work harder.
Absolutely.
A woman who is single has to depend on herself, but also is constantly asked when she's getting married.
Yeah.
And is not seen as like a
societal
whole woman.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly the reason why I like chilled out on going to my home church for a long time, because I kept getting asked,
when are you going to get
married?
When
are you getting married? And I'm like, yeah, like I just got out of a breakup. Like I'm not thinking about marriage. I'm thinking about getting myself together.
Yeah.
This is 3 years ago. Getting myself together. I've been single for 3 years now. Happiest I've ever been. Got the grown woman weight that I needed to have.
And you look good.
Thanks, girl. I was so skinny when I was in a relationship. Every time
Girl,
I'm in a relationship, I'm like skinny. I always have the hips, but everything else is gone. And like 121 pounds, not where I need to be.
Wow.
Not at all where I need to be. I'm healthy and I'm happier now that I'm single.
And you're whole.
And I'm whole. But it doesn't mean I don't need love. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean I'm not dating, but I'm also things day by day. You know, you can't stress yourself out trying to find a husband. And I know girls who've done that. I know girls who have settled because
just for the sake of having a man. And that's something that I heavily preach. I know your church was asking you when you were going to get married. And I remember, like, I would go to church and people would be like, oh, I don't ever see you getting married. And that, like...
Oh, really?
Yes. At that age, like, that was not something I could handle. Not something I could take. Because I'm just like, oh, no, I'm going to get married. But now, as an adult...
You're like, thank you.
I see why.
Yeah.
Like, I can stand on my own 2 feet. I'm very much an individual.
You were a young girl?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I never understood it. It actually made me very sad. But now as an adult, I see, like, I am an individual.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stand behind anybody.
At this point.
Next to a man.
Sarah Jakes Roberts is proud of you. Okay.
I love her.
I love her too. She's also, like, the one in the church who's, like, telling us, like, girl, focus on what God has for you, what the purpose that you need to do here on this earth. Everything else will come. And I do believe that. Everything will come. She did that. She didn't know she was going to meet her husband the way she met him, you know, and it happened. And if you don't ever get married, that's okay too.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
You
it's
have
for
your
the men.
girlfriends. Yeah.
It's for the men. It's for the men.
But that's why it's so important. Like, I see a lot of friends, or a lot of my friends get into relationships and they completely like stop talking to their girlfriends.
Yeah.
But as for me, like, at the end of the day, relationships are fickle. Men come and go. The one thing that's going to remain constant for me is the friendships that I have in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to change that for any man that
Yeah.
walks on God's green earth, because at the end of the day, that's who's going to pick me up when this man leaves.
Exactly. That's what, honestly, even like down to like planning events or like making things happen. If I have plans with my girlfriends, or if I'm making plans with my girlfriends and a man's like, oh, I want to take you on this date, I'm so sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so sorry, I'm busy. Let's reschedule when I'm not with my girlfriends.
Absolutely. And I'm not one to ever cancel my girlfriends for a man.
Never. That's like girl code
Yeah.
nowadays. I'm sure they did that. Our parents did that all the time. But
I don't know. I think my mom used to cancel on her friends to hang out with her man.
yeah, I think they did. I think my mom did too, honestly.
Yeah.
But I also look at my mom. She's 68 years old. My dad's passed away a year before my dad passed away. Her best friend passed away. But those were her. Those were her friends.
Yeah.
She didn't have this large group of girlfriends like I have. So I'm like, okay, one friend dies, I got another. You know, that's my.
Jen!
It's true though. It is true. When I'm that age, friends start passing away. I still have other friends. I'm not gonna be lonely.
I need to grow my friend group.
Because your husband's gonna die for sure before you.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't know. My husband, he's healthy.
Okay.
Very
Unless
healthy.
he's younger.
Yeah. Well, no, he's older, but he's healthy. He's not old though, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not your husband.
I mean, he's probably gonna be.
Okay.
In the next 10 years.
Don't wait 10 years.
Oh yeah.
How long have you been? Where are y'all at? How many years have y'all been together? Is it more than 3?
Yeah.
But you're young still.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to get married. And I'm like our first few years, I was a hot girl. Like when I
Okay.
tell you the hottest of the, I was the hot girl coach.
He couldn't get you to sit down.
Absolutely not.
What?
Hot girl
Okay.
coach.
So
But
we're at,
now,
like,
like
20.
I'm settled down.
When do you want to get married? Like what age?
I don't have. I
You don't
have
have an
completely
age?
given that to God.
Mm.
I used to say, like, when I was younger, I was just like, my mom was married at 28, so I want to be engaged by 25, and I want to be married by 28, and then I want to have all these kids. But, like, right, realistically, like, in this economy, kids, maybe. Having a man, I really love myself. And I have so much fun watching Girlfriends Alone. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to just invite somebody into your space permanently. Like, having them come spend the night, like, that's great. So I had to figure out something, but y'all can come to my life partnership ceremony.
That is so funny because I'm like the opposite. Like I'd like to be married. I would like him to live next door.
Yes.
Or have, like,
separate
his-
spaces,
his
or like
own
your
wing.
own room.
Yeah, no, he needs a wing. I need a wing. Like I need my own kitchen. He has his kitchen.
Yeah, with his dirty rag and the dirty dishes.
Well, and I'm not gonna marry a man who I don't date men who are dirty.
I love
So he-
that.
But dirty to a man and dirty
It's,
to
a woman is completely
different.
different. But
Yeah.
like, I have a tick. Like, I hate when people like take their clothes off and leave them on the floor. That goes for
Oh,
girls
yeah.
too, because I have stayed with girls in hotels and they just take off their clothes and throw them on the floor. I'm like, ooh, I'm not traveling with her again.
Yeah, no, you gotta be neat and tight. I was raised in a military home, so that's
Oh
not-
yeah.
But I do want to be married. I don't necessarily want the children, more so because of the economy and the world where it's at. But when it comes to like marriage and having a partner, like I would like to have somebody, just not up underneath me all the time.
Yeah.
We can keep talking forever.
I definitely agree with you, Jen. And I feel like as far as friendships and relationships go, like, I love both.
Yeah.
I love my friends. I love my boyfriend, of course.
Do you put your girlfriends over him?
Let's talk about this off camera because
Okay.
he's gonna watch this.
Okay. It's like,
What about you?
I would. But I also haven't been in a relationship in 3 years since I've adapted this mindset. Because I'm 30. Yeah, so 31 was the last relationship that I was in, and yeah, I feel like where I'm at now, if I'm dating, my girlfriends are going to be in front of that person.
Absolutely.
Um,
The hard part is the marriage. Like,
hard part
that's
is
so sad.
it's hard at night when it's cold outside to like, do I want to stay here or do I want to go with my girlfriends?
Yeah.
I think that all of my friends who are in relationships struggle with that, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that because I'm the one calling them, telling them to come out.
But my thing is, like, how much fun do you really have with your boyfriend? Like, does he make you laugh until you pee?
I don't have a boyfriend. I have somebody that I'm dating, and this person is, I'd say, different, but I still wouldn't put my girlfriends like
Beneath him.
beneath him.
Yeah.
No, it would not happen. It literally would not happen.
Now, I don't know if I could necessarily put my girlfriends above my boyfriend because they came after him. These are all newfound friendships, so
Oh,
I'd say on the hierarchy, my
That
boyfriend
matters.
has to come first.
yeah, I can see that. That does matter. So yeah, you just answered that question.
And my boyfriend is my best friend. 'Cause
Yeah.
he,
Well, he should be.
Yeah.
He
like,
totally
we actually,
should be.
like, really have a friendship.
Yeah.
Like, we were friends first, and then we started dating.
That's the way to do it
And it's honestly, like, the healthiest and, like, best relationship I've ever been in.
because y'all were friends first.
Yeah.
He has the respect for you.
And he understands me on the level that my old best friend did, which, like I said, is my love language, feeling seen. And
So my only question is, since you have your boyfriend and he started off as a friend, do you have other guy friends that like you're close to like that?
not
Still?
as close as I was to him.
Okay.
But I definitely do still have guy friends.
Oh, that's
and
good.
he's understanding of that. He has girlfriends. And, like, I talk to his girlfriends all the time. Like, we're friends on Instagram.
That's what matters.
Anytime we go to his home city or his hometown, I'm like, where's Mimi and Star?
Mhm. That's cute.
I love his girlfriends. Like, it's no insecurities there.
That matters. That totally matters, especially when they have friends of the opposite gender, and so do you, to have that mutual understanding. I don't date men who are jealous of my guy friends because I do have really close guy friends.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to get married, my male friends are gonna be my bridesmaids. Like, definitely, I'm gonna have a long row of bridesmaids. And,
Wow. Now I want to. I mean, they might be ushers or something, but you might give a speech.
yeah.
you
Some of my
know?
guy friends are gay too, so, like,
Okay.
they're gonna come slay. Period.
I do have my gay guy friends. That's a whole different friendship.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of people in dresses and some of my bridesmen
I love it.
in suits.
I love it.
And I mean, like, my boyfriend can have his
If he wants.
grooms women.
Very unorthodox. Yeah.
I mean,
love
I
that.
think our whole relationship is very different than most,
Mhm.
just because we have very different beliefs of how, like, relationships should be.
Mhm.
But I do think that what we have is much healthier than most relationships too, because we understand boundaries and, like, how to function as individuals rather than, like,
That's
that
key.
codependency.
That's the part that I want to avoid in my next relationship is that, like, you're up underneath me all the time. I can't do anything. My last relationship, he just watched a lot of TV, and I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
So I felt like I wasted, like, that's the experiences I had with him were great, but watching TV on his couch did waste my life.
Mm-hmm.
It wasted my life and my time. And good luck to his new girlfriend because I know that's what they're doing.
I hope you
wasting
enjoy
a lot of
Netflix.
time.
Yeah. And that's how my previous relationship was too. We spent a lot of time inside, mainly because we just both really didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Like, I was still in college, and then before college, like, I was in high school.
Yeah.
I had senior fees and senior activities, so all we really could do was, like, go to the movies or, like, sit in the house and watch Netflix. So that's what we did. And, like, obviously, I'm kind of a homebody, so I didn't mind it as much.
Yeah.
But with the guy that I'm with now, like, he's always encouraging us to do something. Like, we're always
good.
trying a new restaurant. We're always going on some sort of vacation
That's
to a
healthy.
country we've never been to, or
I
seeing
love
something
it.
that we've never seen.
Y'all are
So,
cute.
Thank you.
Y'all are so cute.
Thank you.
I love that for you. And yeah, you're like, I would say with my girlfriends who have significant others, you do balance well.
Thank you.
So that's good for you to keep that up.
Thank you. I'm trying.
You have to.
I'm trying.
For your sanity.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's good to, like, get away from your guy to kind of just decompress and like be around women. It's nothing like being around women.
I have a girlfriend who, when she was with her last, like, we didn't see her at all, but when they broke up,
she's back on the scene.
She's outside.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie or this TV series called
Probably not.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't watch TV.
I'm like, what is it?
It's called Dollface.
Mm-mm.
It's about a girl. It's super cute. You should watch it. It's on Hulu. So it's about a girl who is in this long-term relationship like through college, and she has this group of girlfriends that she was friends with in college as well, but their friendship kind of slowly faded out as she dated this guy. They ended up graduating college, living together. They went into their various careers together, and her friends kind of moved on and still hung out with each other, but they were all single. And so eventually, like one day they're just at brunch and he's like, I'm not really feeling this anymore. I think we should break up. And so immediately, like, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know who she can call, who she can talk to, but she has to move out of the apartment. And the first place she goes to is her friends from college.
Oh.
And they're like, girl, we haven't heard from you in 5 years.
Dang.
And I just feel like that is very indicative of what girls are like now in relationships. You won't hear from them forever, but as soon as their relationship doesn't work out, they're hitting you up like, hey girl, let's go to the club, or
that's why we gotta have balance.
Exactly.
We have to have the balance.
Well, thank you so much, Jen, for having this chat with me.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I know we talked a lot.
And I hope you guys enjoy every moment of this podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Absolutely Not. Be sure to download it on all streaming platforms and tune in weekly for new episodes.